This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And good morning here on November the 5th, 2022. It's the Dr. Sem Yankee Show from Start Spreading the News here on the Northeast Streaming Sports Network. And you know what? Let's make today a great day, because every day can be a great day. How do you make it great? By looking for the good. And we can always find some good. We just sometimes have to look real hard for it. Hey, tomorrow is, for me at least, and probably for about 50,000 others, maybe more, the biggest sports day of the year. Tomorrow, November 6th, the first Sunday in November. The biggest day. No, it's not the World Series, though there may be a World Series game. No, it's not week 9 or whatever of the NFL season, or whatever game it is in the early basketball season. It's not the World Cup of soccer yet. No, no, no. It's the biggest day, the greatest day, the biggest day, at least in New York sports. And for any of us running, tomorrow is the New York City Marathon. There's my race number. I picked it up on Thursday at the Expo. I'm looking forward to what will be my 23rd marathon. Oh, boy, do I love running the New York City Marathon. Big day. You know, it makes us feel, at least it makes me feel when I run that race, like the champion athlete I always wanted to be when I was a kid growing up, dreaming of playing for the Yankees. Of course, that dream was never realized, though I still play baseball. Baseball, not softball. I pitch in 2 different leagues, and if the Yankees need a pitcher, I might be in my 50s, but I'm ready to go. I could give them 200 innings right now, and I would come a lot cheaper than Aaron Judge is going to come. Of course, I'm not quite nearly as good as Aaron Judge, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, tomorrow I will win the New York City Marathon. Yes, as with every other runner who competes in the race, we're all winners. And of course, once you finish, you really, truly are a winner. So I can't wait. Big day tomorrow. Love my race number. And I'll be spending the rest of today getting ready. The last couple pieces to get ready. Lay out my clothes. They say you don't need to carb load. When I first started running marathons about 22 years ago, they talked a lot about carb loading. They say you really don't need to do that anymore. I still like to carb load. So I like to use the night before as an excuse, maybe to go to a place like the Olive Garden, get the unlimited salad, get the unlimited breadsticks, and have some fun, right? So we'll see. We'll see if we go out tonight, get ready for the big day tomorrow. I've been running every single day this calendar year. I have not missed a day yet. And so today I'll do a nice, easy 2 miles. Tomorrow I'll do a long, hard 26.2. Monday will be the tough day. I've never really run the day after a marathon. I think after my first one I tried. I wrote about that a little bit in my wonderful novel, Scattering the Ashes. If you haven't read this yet, you are missing a fantastic book. Maybe we'll talk about it a little more later. But I remember feeling empty that next day after the marathon. You run through the streets of New York and everybody cheers for you. And then the next day you're just running through your neighborhood and nobody even cares. So it'll be interesting to see how my running goes tomorrow. But enough about running. This is a Yankee show. Let's talk Yankees baseball. And what's happening in the Yankees world right now? Well, nothing much is happening in the Yankees world, but there was a Yankees event yesterday. Yesterday, the Yankees had their press conference. Aaron Boone and then Brian Cashman met the media. And I have to be honest, I usually don't watch these. They're usually on during the day. Until this year, after I retired, I was always at work. And then, to be honest, if I taped them, I found them to be very boring and it was difficult to even sit through the whole thing. And, well, I decided to give it a try yesterday and watch the whole thing. And I have to say, it was a lot of nothing. Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone really didn't say anything. And you have to wonder why they have these press conferences and why they make such a big deal about the press conferences if they're really not going to illuminate and share a great deal of information. The thing that they did share was that they're happy with the process. They feel they've done a good job. They feel they don't really need to look back and change anything. Aaron Boone basically said that. Think about that. This is the New York Yankees. The Yankees have not been in the World Series since 2009. That's a long time ago. And yet they think that the process is working. I don't think it's working. I think the process to get the Yankees to be a competitive team, yeah, that's working. To make the Yankees world champions, no, that's not working. And I wrote about this on Start Spreading the News earlier this week. You can go check my site and read the articles. We have a ton of great writers, and we put up 3 articles a day, every single day through the entire off season. There will be new articles every single day at 6 a.m., 12 p.m., noon, and 6 p.m. So 6, noon, and 6, 3 articles a day all winter long. We used to do 4, but I have to be honest, we get such good comments on each article that when we put the 4th article up, it sort of detracted away from some of the discussions and the other arguments and discussions and debates and all that kind of good stuff. So we decided let's put one fewer article each day so that we get good, rich discussions on the articles we put up. So every day at 6 a.m., begin your day with us. At noon, then you can have a nice discussion at lunchtime. And then when you come home after work, 6 p.m., little evening time, you can again read the latest new article. Anyway, I wrote earlier in the week that the Yankees, I don't know, there's something missing. And there's a problem when bloggers, writers like me, and I've been saying this for a long time, seem to understand more about the team than the people running the team. For years, I have said, and I'm not the only one, that the Yankees need good left-handed hitting. The Yankees don't seem to ever get good left-handed hitting. For years, they told us it doesn't matter if you're righty or lefty. And then they said, oh, maybe it does matter. And that was a couple years ago when they started batting Aaron Hicks in the 3 spot and the 5 spot to try to get a left-handed bat, even though he's a switch hitter, in the middle of the order, right there in the between like Stanton and Judge. They said we didn't need a lefty hitter, but then they started putting a mediocre lefty hitter, and he didn't perform. You know, you wish he would have performed, but he didn't. And then they went out and they got Joey Gallo. That didn't work out. Traded a lot of prospects to get him, and then they got Anthony Rizzo. And that has worked out. Rizzo's been pretty good, but you can't build a great Yankee team without great left-handed slugging. Would have been nice yesterday if at the press conference, Aaron Boone or Brian Cashman said something like, you know, we've made some mistakes over the years. The Yankees also need left-handed pitching. They don't have any, except for Nestor Cortez. They use Lucas Licky not at all for the most part in the playoffs, so they don't really value him as their left-handed relief pitcher, it seems. And they have Wandy Peralta, who they used almost exclusively, at least in the first round of the playoffs. So you can't build a great Yankees team without great left-handed pitching, especially great left-handed starting pitching, of which the Yankees have one guy right now, and left-handed power, of which the Yankees, if Anthony Rizzo opts out, will have none. And the thing that just I can't get over is a number of years ago, Bryce Harper was there for the taking. He wanted to be a Yankee, and the Yankees didn't even make him an offer. And think of how much opportunity cost that has cost the team in games lost, games where they tried Aaron Hicks in the middle of the batting order, games where they played Joey Gallo, players they had to give up to get Joey Gallo and Anthony Rizzo, on and on, Andrew Benintendi, et cetera, to try to get left-handed hitting. But Benintendi doesn't really fit that bill because he's a good on-base guy. I'm not saying he's not a good ball player, but he's not the left-handed slugger that they need. And usually you need a few of them. How can it be that we as fans and writers of the team know more or seem to than the people running the team? And really, that's my problem with the press conference last night or yesterday. They didn't really say anything like, yeah, we did a bad job. We thought we'd go with the approach of not needing good lefty bats and good lefty arms. It hasn't worked. Instead, they said, no, we're pretty happy with what we've got. We're just so close. We're almost there. And then both Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone blamed a lot of the reason why the Yankees lost on injuries. I'm sorry. That cannot be an excuse because it's been an excuse for years. And every team faces injuries. If you're going to build a championship team, you need to build a deep championship team. It can't be one that, well, will be good if nobody gets hurt. And let's be honest, Anthony Rizzo, this is a guy who's had back problems. Aaron Judge is a guy who's missed a lot of time. He didn't the last 2 years. Let's give him credit. But before that, he's missed a ton of time. Harrison Bader, who they just acquired, was injured for the first month. And he's never, I don't think, played even 140 games in the season. Aaron Hicks is frequently injured. Giancarlo Stanton is frequently injured. So the team itself is built upon guys who are not necessarily what you might call Iron Men. And so if you're going to build a team with players like that, well, you better have a backup plan. And at one point during the press conference, Brian Cashman said, we just sort of, see what happens. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but that's basically what he said. We'll see what happens. We had injuries and you just try things and you experiment. Well, no. You've got to have a better plan than that. We're not talking about the Kansas City Royals, who, by the way, have been to 2 World Series since the Yankees last have been there. But we're not talking about a team like the Kansas City Royals or the Texas Rangers. Oh, they've been to a few World Series. The Detroit Tigers, they were there too. Or the Cleveland team, the Guardians, they were there too. Or the Cubs, they were there too. Anyway, we're not talking about any of those teams that are smaller market teams. Not the Cubs necessarily, of course. But, these are the Yankees, the most valuable team in baseball, and they don't have a good backup plan for when the guys who they have who are very likely to miss time for injury, but they're happy with the process. Someone asked Aaron Boone in the press conference, would you change anything? And basically Aaron Boone said, no, it's all good. See, I see that as a problem. The Yankees used to be the team that demanded excellence. Excellence. The Yankees used to be the team that said, we will do whatever it takes to be the best. And if we're not the best, we failed. That doesn't mean we can't say it wasn't a good season. Hey, we won the division. Hey, we made it to the championship series. Yeah, good. But we need to be better. And then when you ask, what were the mistakes? What would you do differently? I don't know. You think that they would have answers about what they would do differently. Someone asked Aaron Boone, and I basically tried to get his entire quote here. They said, what is your number one priority for the offseason? And Well, basically, this was his quote. Um, I mean, look, that's probably, you know, I know cash is coming in next, and certainly I'm always a part of the conversation and things, and you're trying to improve. The off season takes you in a lot of different places. What does that even mean? It's a simple question. Mr. Boone, what are the priorities heading into the off season? When they asked that to Brian Cashman, he said left field and shortstop. And also, of course, re signing Aaron Judge. I wish someone had said pitching, but I wish someone had said we need some good left handed power bats in our lineup. We've been missing that for a long time. I wish Brian Cashman or Hal Steinbrenner would come out and say why the Yankees didn't pursue Bryce Harper all those years ago, because he would have checked all the boxes all these last number of years. And I said it at the time. And I said at the time, the fact that the Yankees didn't sign Harper is a mistake they're going to regret from that moment forever. Because Harper was a left-handed player, a great middle of the order guy, a player with lots of energy. He reminds me of Reggie Jackson. That's what he could have been. He could have been Reggie, the modern day Reggie. And here's the thing. Oh, he was too expensive, et cetera, et cetera. The Yankees are still making money off Reggie Jackson. Every day, there are people when you go to the stadium wearing 44 jerseys with his number on the back, and they sell Reggie Jackson hats and Reggie Jackson figurines and Reggie Jackson photographs and Reggie Jackson autographs. And go into the gift shops. There's Reggie Jackson stuff all over the place. Little number 44 circles. You can buy a pin. You can get a little patch. Think about that. They would be making that same money off Bryce Harper, not just now, but forever into the future. And if Harper helps them get to win a few World Series, or would have helped them, well, they would have made money off that forever. Just like every time you tune in, you're watching Reggie hit those 3 home runs on the Yes Network. The Yankees keep running all those great games. Why? Because they generate revenue. And they don't just generate revenue when they happen, it generates revenue forever. And then what happens? Well, when the player gets in the Hall of Fame, then you have a special day at the stadium. Then you sell some more special merchandise, the Hall of Fame merchandise, the Mariano Rivera Hall of Fame patch, the Derek Jeter Hall of Fame this. Think about it. But I would love one of the Yankees. It was either Cashman's decision or it was Hal Steinbrenner's decision not to go after Bryce Harper. I'd like someone to tell us why. We didn't think we needed him? Well, okay, at least we know that you didn't think you needed a great left-handed bat in the middle of the lineup, and we understand why one of the problems is there. Or he was too expensive? Okay. Well, now we know you didn't want to spend the amount of money necessary to put the best players in pinstripes. That's a departure. The Yankees are departing from their old methods of how they used to build a team, if that's the case. But tell us. But the Yankees don't do that. So it was frustrating. At one point, Aaron Boone said, I really believe Josh Donaldson will come around next year. If the Yankees put him in the middle of the lineup again, that's a problem. He didn't hit. He played great defense. At one point, they asked Aaron Boone, why do you believe Isaiah Kiner Falefa is a great shortstop defensively? And I have to be honest, and I have an article coming up on Start Spreading the News at noon with a link to the answer from Twitter. His answer wasn't very good. Like, why do you think he's a great fielding shortstop? He seemed taken aback at that question. He's like, well, we sort of look at fielding and plays they make and like transfers and things like that. You would think the Yankees manager would have had a better answer. And at one point, someone asked Brian Cashman if the 3 true outcome approach isn't really working for the Yankees. And Brian Cashman, I think he was being coy because he's very smart, basically said, I don't know what that is. And they said, walks, strikeouts, homers. That seems to be the Yankee model all these last numbers of years. Now, I think Brian Cashman knows what three true outcome is. And if he doesn't, that's a problem. But he then pointed to the fact that the Yankees did get guys like DJ LeMahieu, Anthony Rizzo, Andrew Benintendi, who are more contact guys. Okay, I'll buy it. But he neglected to mention that they also went out and got Joey Gallo, who is the definition of a 3 true outcome type of player. He either walked, he struck out, or he hit it out for the most part, right? Frustrating. I would just love the Yankees to have more urgency. Would have loved if in that press conference they said very bluntly, we didn't do the job. I mean, they said it around it like, yeah, well, we always want to keep growing. We got to get better. We're looking to get to the next level. I want to hold up the championship trophy, that kind of thing. But it didn't lack, or it didn't contain the fervor of, you know what? We didn't do it. And it's been too many years since we haven't done it. And we've got to make sure we do whatever it takes, no matter what, to give these fans a World Series. These are loyal fans. They've stuck with us. They've believed in our plan, and they deserve better. And we represent the Yankees, and we're going to move heaven and earth and everything to put a championship team on the field. The process has not worked, and we're going to do better. I would have loved to hear that. We didn't really hear that. We heard, well, we're going to try. Things happen. Guys get injured. We try things. Process is working. It's all good. Disappointing. Very disappointing. All right. My dear friends, mentioned my book, Scattering the Ashes. It's a novel. It's the greatest story you've ever read. I think. I hope it will be. Make sure you get that. We also, of course, are highlighting my other wonderful book on the Yankees. This is not a novel. This is a historical book, The Least Among Them, talking about the 29 players whose entire major league career lasted for just one game as a member of the Yankees. That book, both of them actually have won numerous awards. They're really great. If you haven't read them yet, take the time, find them on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. I think you'll be very pleased. Now, if you're a big Yankee fan, you know that the greatest left fielder in Yankees history was Roy White. I have a picture of Roy and I. We'll bring it up right here. There we are. That's Roy White. That's me. I think you all know that I've collaborated with Roy White on his autobiography, From Compton to the Bronx, a fascinating story from a fascinating Yankee, one of the greats, someone who deserves to be in Monument Park. That book is coming out in April, but in just a few weeks, on November 17th, there's going to be a big event at Ramapo College in Mahwah, New Jersey, an evening with Roy White. Roy White's going to talk about how he became successful, how he overcame poverty, segregation, and so much more to be a great Yankee, a Yankee who played with Mickey Mantle, Thurman Munson, Reggie Jackson, and a guy who went to Japan and played with Sadahara O. Roy White was the first player ever to win the World Series in America with the Yankees and the Japanese series, the Japan series in Tokyo with the Giants. The first guy ever to win the championship on two different continents with each continent's greatest team, the Yankees and the Giants. Only one other player has ever done that, and that's Hideki Matsui, who Roy White coached and who Roy White scouted. Fascinating story. Everyone in attendance will receive an autographed 8x10 picture of Roy White. It's going to be up close and personal. You'll get to meet Roy White. It will be, I promise, a great, great evening. That's November 17th, Ramapo College. It's only $30 to attend. I mean, you can't even get an autograph for $30. And this, you're going to get the autograph, the picture, an evening. You're going to get to talk to Roy White. People will get to ask him questions. I will facilitate the discussion. It's going to be phenomenal. And one college-age student in the audience is going to win a Roy White scholarship from the Roy White Foundation for school supplies, books, and that kind of thing, up to $750. So a great, great, great event. How can you go? How can you find out more? Go to Start Spreading the News. There's a tab right there, right on the homepage. Click on it. That's how you register. You do not want to miss An Evening with Roy White, November 17th. It's coming quickly. So make sure you get your tickets now. That's going to be a great event. My goodness, this is a half an hour show, and I don't know. To me, it seems to go by in about 42 seconds. It zooms on by. I hope the off season zooms on by. I have one other big point to make, and we'll do it quickly here as we get to the bottom of the hour. As I was driving home from the Marathon Expo on Thursday, I don't always or even often listen to sports radio on the radio because I always want my perspectives, my opinions to be mine, not regurgitating what somebody else says on the radio. But it was either ESPN New York or it was WFAN, and I forget who they were, and I don't know who was talking. But the hosts said that they heard, and I have to assume they're getting good information, that the Yankees' number one priority this winter is going to be signing Aaron Judge. That's what it should be. But then I heard, as part of that the Yankees aren't going to do anything until the Judge situation is resolved. And if that's the case, that's a problem. I wrote about this yesterday on Start Spreading the News. There was a lot of discussion in the comments. You can go in there and look back at it. But if the Yankees are going to base their entire off season on what Aaron Judge does and not have a contingency plan, because if they're waiting for Judge, you can't have a contingency plan because all the players or many of the players who you might want to trade for will get traded. If Aaron Judge doesn't sign for a long time, you're just going to be in limbo for a long time. That's what they did a few years ago with DJ LeMahieu. It's a bad strategy. It's a terrible strategy. The Yankees need to call Aaron Judge in, make him a very fair best offer. Say, Aaron, this is the best we can do. We want you on the team. We love you. We want you to be a Yankee. This is what we can offer. This many years, this much money. And then say, but we can't wait all winter on you because if you're not going to sign, we've got to do things. And so give them a deadline. December 1st, December 8th, December 15th. I don't care what the day is, but they have to give him a deadline so that he can't hold the Yankees hostage all winter. Can you imagine if they're not going to do anything until they solve the Aaron Judge thing? And for a team that bases so much and uses the luxury tax as basically a salary cap, they really can't do anything until they know how much money they're spending on Aaron Judge or not. So they need to resolve the Aaron Judge situation quickly. They cannot let that go on and on and on, especially if it's going to prevent them from making other moves to improve the team. And we'll talk a lot about this, and we'll talk about this on the Start Spreading the News show on Monday nights at 9 p.m. But if you look at the Yankees team, I know Brian Cashman and Aaron Boone feel they're real close. If a couple things don't go the right way, like if Aaron Judge leaves and if Anthony Rizzo leaves, the Yankees are up the creek. They could be a very bad team next year. I mean, they're on the precipice here. It's not a firm foundation. So they need to resolve the Aaron Judge situation so they know how to make the team competitive for next year. We need to trust the process. That's what they told us. Well, we've been trusting that process for a long, long time. And that process is not delivering world championships. Maybe the process should be the old way. Go out, get the best players, put them in pinstripes, and let them win a ton of games. All right, my friends. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Share your comments. When you see this on the blog, let's have a discussion. Have a great day. Let's go Yankees coming at 8 a.m. The Mac and Jack Saturday morning debate show. And I'll be right there with them. All right. Have a great day. Bye-bye.